Well, the final day of the season is about to begin, kind of. It's supposed to be the final day of the season, but a lot of weird stuff is happening in baseball. I think one of the reasons we're seeing some of the bad stuff that's happened in baseball this past week is because of baseball's big problem. A big running problem is there is no commissioner. We have a lack of commissioner of baseball problem that we have currently in Major League Baseball. And we saw the results of it in Oakland this week when I was at the A's game. We saw seeing the result of it today in that this is the final day of the season, but not really. Obviously, I'm hosting Locked On A's for the rest of this week, and I've been doing it all season. So I've got a front row seat of what happened in Oakland, the travesty of what happened in Oakland, of which the team was ripped away from a community. Now, whether or not the Bay Area could support two baseball teams, that's a debate to have. That's a discussion to have. Both teams, the Giants and the A's, have had issues with stadiums and have threatened to move many, many times over. We can have that conversation. But the manner that it happened with the A's and the manner that there is no plan right now is on the hands of Fisher, the guy who inherited a lot of money, aspires to be Fredo Corleone, and is taking the team out of Oakland, not because of any real deadlines, except the fact that if he stayed in the Oakland Coliseum, he would not be getting the revenue sharing. A billionaire is taking it away and with zero plan because he wants more money handed to him, which is all you need to know about his character and who he is as a human. But now we're going to have a major league team playing in a minor league stadium on artificial turf that is going to be baking all day in the hottest city you'll be in that's not in Arizona and the sunniest city in America. And the artificial turf is going to be baked and it's not going to be conducive for playing Major League Baseball. Do you know why? It's a minor league stadium. They're not outdoor minor league stadiums. They're not supposed to have artificial turf in the sun because it gets hot. It is a news flash that it gets hot in Sacramento, and there's no money for a Las Vegas stadium, and they're supposed to put a pennant-ready team in Las Vegas when they build the Armadillo there, and there's no way they'll ever do that because what agent in their right mind would say, "Yeah, play in a I'm gonna let you play in a minor league stadium and get heat stroke in the middle of the summer." Yeah, even at night, because it's gonna be cooking all night. It's not like once the sun goes down, the blazing hot astroturf is gonna get cool. Turn off an electric stove and put your hand right on it. See if it gets burnt. Spoiler alert, it will. If there was a commissioner in baseball, they would be trying to come up with a solution. I understand that the commissioner of baseball is not supposed to be some Pollyanna, oh, I'm only going to be doing things that make everything fun and great for the fans. I understand that the commissioner, going back to the days of Kennesaw Mountain Landis and before, has there to serve the best interests of the owners of the game. How is having one of the franchises driven into the ground for the good of the game, especially when there were other billionaires, their favorite group of people, who were willing to buy the A's and insert them into a possible new stadium in San Jose, which they can't build because the Giants own territorial rights of San Jose, or in parking lot of Oakland, or maybe move them to Sacramento or to Portland or to Utah, which seems to be much further along than anything going on in Las Vegas right now. A commissioner would be able to say, hey, having a major league team, having our major league product play in a minor league frying pan is not good for the game and not good for our profits. Hey, Giants, you don't need the territorial rights in San Jose anymore. You have a new stadium. Open that up. That's better for everybody than having the A's dying on the vine and frying on the pan. But we don't. And Rob Manfred, who has the title of commissioner, put a gag order on people, potential Bay Area investors, and would not entertain any offers of keeping him there. Instead, They are going to, I don't know, Sacramento for at least 5 years because there's no funding for the stadium in Las Vegas yet, or maybe permanently. Either way, they don't have a place to play. They physically do, but it's going to be a catastrophe. That's not an opinion, that is a fact. A commissioner would be able to step in and say, wait a minute, we need to do something, even if it means staying in the Oakland Coliseum for a few more years to maybe work something out. But we can't have a major league team playing on a frying pan. But we don't have a commissioner. Much like we don't have a commissioner regarding what happened with the Mets and the Braves and why today is not the last day of the season, even though they do this great thing where all the teams play at once and everything like that, except we got not one, but two games. I understand you have to have that Monday after the last day of the year to make up for a rainout. Did you have to make up for two? The hurricane was, or tropical storm, whichever it was, we all knew it was about to hit the southern states. Anyone who had a TV that wasn't just on MLB Network knew that it was on its way. And yet somehow the commissioner of baseball couldn't figure that out. Gee whiz, I wonder if there was a solution to this. The Mets and the Braves had an off day. Both had an off day on Monday. We all knew the storm was going to hit. I have an idea, knowing damn well the worst of it was going to be on Wednesday or Thursday. Why don't we take that Thursday game and move it to Monday and then play a doubleheader on Tuesday and then get the hell out of there? Do you know who could have figured that out? My dog. My dog could have figured that out. Most dogs could. Anyone who had access to a television that had the Weather Channel could have figured that out. Who knows? Maybe there are blackout rules on the Weather Channel where he's sitting. That's another thing a commissioner could wipe away. Blackout rules. And then owners make more money. But instead of doing what any toddler could have figured out, they thought, well, why don't we just play through it? Like the scene in Caddyshack when they said, oh, I think when they're playing in the lightning storm. And so now with two games, look at if this was a game between the Rangers and the White Sox, you what you do? You call them. You call them. But these could directly affect who plays in the wild card or not. Because they're playing each other and they're tied, or the Braves are one up right now. So now you have to play a doubleheader on Monday. And the Braves and the Mets, whichever ones are moving forward, will have used their first two starting pitchers and be on starting pitcher number three the next day when they play either San Diego or Milwaukee, who will have a rested and ready starting pitching staff. The commissioner could have said, hey, Monday, doubleheader Tuesday, rather Wednesday and Thursday. Or they could have said, apparently it was brought to the Braves ownership saying, what if we just move these games to New York? We'll just play them in New York. There'll be home games for you. And the Braves owner said no. Again, this is when a commissioner would come in handy and say, yeah, yes. Which would you rather have? Braves ownership, the game being played in Citi Field, or playing a doubleheader the day before the first game of the playoffs? How about you play it in a neutral site? This is the one positive when Selig ran it, he would always have neutral site games in Milwaukee. I mean, the Brewers were playing, so that's the point is moot, but there were at least half the stadiums were empty. Have them go somewhere else. Which would have been better for you? Huh? Them playing in front of a handful of fans in St. Louis or whatever city was open at the time? Or I know Dodger Stadium was open, could have come to Dodger Stadium. Say, "Hey, look at, the money is gonna go to hurricane victims, blah, 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 blah." I think that would have been better than playing a doubleheader the day before the playoffs, wouldn't you? Again, this is when a commissioner comes in handy. And I have said before on this election year, vote for me. I could be a commissioner, baseball commissioner for a change. And I'm not so Pollyanna to understand that, well, look it, I know this is going to be for dough. I know this will be for money. Everything I just suggested will help the bottom line. Having a profitable team in the Bay Area, or if the worst case scenario happens, you have to move the team, which I don't think you do because there's so much money floating in the Bay Area that you could figure something out instead of being so enamored with playing in Las Vegas. But here we go. I would also whisper to the Tampa Bay Rays, hey, if the problem of your attendance all this year has been the location of the stadium, your pal Sully is going to give you a tip. Don't build the stadium next to where the poorly placed stadium was. Figure out a plan in downtown Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has a huge sports following. The Lightning are wildly popular. Put a baseball team in downtown Tampa Bay or downtown Tampa, I meant to say. Boom. You'll see it. You'll see them show up. These are the sort of things a commissioner will do. And once again, vote for me. Get me this job. My name is Sully, and I approve this message.